Hello everyone. It's James again. And before I start today's video, I just want to quickly say, all work in this video contains 100% original content of and by myself James Smith, otherwise known as Bgood 4000, and was uniquely created with NAWMAL software, by myself James Smith. As I purchased commercial rights from NAWMAL to produce my unique and original video with this software. Commentary is uniquely my own thoughts, feelings, and expressions. Now that I have that out of the way, I do hope your day is going way better than fantastic and your journey to self-betterment is going way better than fantastic as well. Today I wanted to piggyback on my last video. And for those of you that haven't watched, take a moment and go back and watch it. And then come back to this video. You see, when we talk about society and societal narcissism, and our very life that we lead, with the various people in our lives, the key to most of what is going on is making sure we do our best. It's not perfect by any stretch, but the best job we can to put the brakes on narcissism before it gets out of control in our lives and in society. Well, it's already out of control in society, but I think there are some things that can be done. You see, the most important thing in society besides God, in my opinion, because without God there is nothing. But with that in mind, the next most important thing is family. Simply put, the people in society we are talking about. So how do you make a people fall into low self-esteem, and to just giving up on life and themselves? You see, most people, not all, but most, narcissism aside and narcissistic abuse aside, if they were honest, most would love to get married. And most would love to have children, grandchildren, and a full round life. Or what they consider to be full and round. But the thing is, most people aren't doing that anymore. Even if it's what they deep down inside want and desire. Furthermore, they might outwardly tell others that they don't want such things. As if such things like that are terrible and bad. But when they can't sleep at night, that's all they think about. Pretending in their mind that they are married. Pretending in their mind that someone loves them. Pretending in their mind that they have children and grandchildren and great-grandchildren. And how did we get to this terrible, terrible place in society? Love bombing. And having the poop shocked out of us when things got switched around on us. With in regards to those not keeping promises that they made to us. Things got switched around on us by treating us poorly and like we don't matter at all. And please keep in mind, I'm not only talking about one-on-one relationships. I'm talking about life here. I'm talking about the many things we see in society happening this very day. You see, love bombing is powerful. It's really powerful. And the narcissists in this world know it. You see, when someone is in the wild hunting a prey item, let's just say, part of the trap they set for the prey. It's got a wonderful piece of food in the trap. And it's dressed up with not just great smells to this prey item, but even more so and beyond. I mean, it's the best thing that this animal has ever smelled or seen. Then once this animal steps into this trap, bam! A big shock happens. The animal is dazed and confused. So much so it's almost paralyzed. And this paralyzation is key. Because the more this animal is dazed and confused, the less of a chance it will be effective at fighting back. Let alone having the ability to do anything else. The other example is the innocent deer in the headlights. That's a popular saying. Because when a deer walks out into the road, and a car comes from out of nowhere, with its bright headlights and its loud noise from the engine, it shocks the deer so much. They too become paralyzed and can't move. You see, the narcissist picks this tactic of love bombing for a reason. Because they know, once they do the switch on you and start to mistreat you and devalue you, and ignore you, you will not only be so addicted to them, but you will be so stunned you won't act in your right mind and do things that would be in your own best interest. which would be to get away from this person. In my last video, I talked a bit about the man-woman dynamic in things, where there are some things in society, though they do affect both men and women. Some of these negative treatments towards men are thought to be a normal and accepted part of society when they are in no way anything good for men, or women for that matter. Because this kind of behavior hurts good women that want to have relationships with good men. But it also hurts society as a whole. Because if good people can't meet and produce more good people, what are you left with? That's right, you are left with evil. Where evil rules and where decency is squashed down. The question is, how do we turn things around? Well, for me, I put God first, just like I mentioned at the beginning of this video. But along with that, know what you are up against and act accordingly. You see, these are things we need to talk about that are important. Narcissists see you and me as prey. And they have a very specific way they get their prey. And there are reasons behind it all. And one of these reasons is a great many of their tactics. Love bombing being one of them. Sets the stage for you to be stunned and shocked once they start to devalue you and mistreat you. So where do we need to start with this information? Well, everyone is affected by this. But take a look at society for just a moment. Who is being told they have to just take it in men and women relationships? In regards to certain devaluing type actions, such as going to a nightclub while one partner is specifically told to stay at home and wait around like they are a nobody. That's right. The good men that might be in your life. You might have a brother you love or a father that you care about. And this is the message that is being pushed, and this is the message that they are being shamed into following. The key is to use the scenario to gain a victory over narcissism. Well, if you can prove it's hurtful to shame these men into going along with such treatment and sucking it up, as they say, and that it's highly mentally and emotionally abusive, then what does that mean for the rest of the world? For the women this happens to as well. Though it's not so much in the public eye. Because believe you me, it happens to women too. I know women this has happened to recently, but we have to be honest with ourselves. We have to be honest if we want to make some headway and if we want to fix some problems. Narcissists love to divide people. They want to get brother and sister to fight. And man and woman to fight. Though you both are in the same boat with the same if not similar problems. So what would I tell someone? To be proactive regarding narcissism. Which is what I think will turn things around. But that one thing I would tell someone is to prepare for the shock. Now this doesn't mean you won't get hurt or whatever. Because if you have emotions and are a real person with feelings, no matter how strong you are, or how strong you think you are, if someone takes you for a ride, and by a ride, I mean someone that is lying to you in regards to their motives and interest in regards to being in your life. They aren't there because they love you, or they think your jokes are funny. They are there to set you up and then rip your life apart. And they do this through gaining your trust. Now a question came up on the last video in the comments section, regarding the narcissist's timeline of them showing themselves, or at least showing themselves in a negative way, with the devaluing, the ignoring, the blaming you for things you didn't do, taking strangers' words over yours, fighting with you for no reason. Yes, a narcissist can take as much time as they need between these stages. And they can, depending on what the end goal is. Such as if you have a large amount of money they want to get from you, or a house, or whatever. However, there seems to be a running theme worldwide. And something I've noticed from having this channel for more than a decade. Person after person sharing the same story. They were the best thing for 6 months. Then out of the blue I was the blame for nearly everything. This seems to be the pattern of the narcissist. See, it throws us for a loop. When someone goes from seeing you as the best, then 6 months later you are the worst person on this earth. It's extremely shocking. But if you know what it is, and if you've heard the message over and over again, through watching videos and learning about narcissism, though you will be hurt, you will be able to walk away a lot earlier in the relationship, as opposed to going through year after year with this person. Finally to realize this person never loved you and it was all a scam and it was all a fraud. You see, right now relationships are a mess. They are a literal mess. And no one has any idea, or they are pretending like they have no idea how things got the way they have gotten. Sounds kinda like living in a home with a narcissist family, doesn't it? All of these things are wrong in the family structure. But there is no lead on fixing the problems or even figuring out what to do. And that's just how the narcissist likes it. Because this means they can continue to do what it is they do to you and to me until they die. So for me, I look at it as wherever we can get the victories, let's get them. And by that I mean, if telling men that they are being bait and switched or they were love bombed and how they are being devalued. If their girlfriend was all lovey-dovey now 6 months later they want to go to the nightclub. That no matter what society says, this is evil, wrong, and in no way something you should tolerate. That you are better than this. And to walk out of the door from any woman that would try to do this to them. Possibly this might just catch on. Just this one little thing might just catch on. And it will do a few things. It will shine a light on this evil behavior that happens to both men and women, sadly. Though society thinks it's great when it happens to men. But with that said, a light can be shined on this problem within relationships and it can be seen as abuse. Abuse. So it will no longer be a popular thing pushed in society. And if that one thing can be done, the good women in the world might be able to find a good man. And a good man might be able to find a good woman. Let's keep it simple. You know, I wasn't going to bring this up now. But I might as well. Something I was thinking about. Do you realize there is only one, maybe two abused men's shelters in the United States? When we all know that abuse of all types affects both men and women roughly at the same rate. But something interesting happens when another shelter is set up or someone tries to create one. That's right. Certain groups protest and call their adjoining landowners or fellow renters if it's connected to another business. Within an effort to create so much pressure, the battered or abused men's shelters can't be set up. And they can't get going. Now the question you have to ask yourself is why? Why? The answer that I've come up with is that maybe those making such a big deal about someone just wanting to help others, they don't want the truth to come to light. And as a result, they don't want both men and women to become healthy in their thinking and dealings with in regards to romantic and personal relationships. Because think about it. If abused men's shelters were able to open without protest, another one would open. Another would open. And another and another. And before you know it, let's say there was an abused men's shelter in every city and state across America. And it wouldn't take long before the same thing would happen in Europe, Australia and beyond. And guess what would happen if this were to occur? You would have hard data and proof that abuse of all kinds affect both men and women. And that abuse is a people problem. Not a this group problem. Or a that group problem. It's a people problem. And if this were to happen, the mass shaming and blaming and dividing that the narcissists like to do on small levels and on big worldwide levels would have the brakes put on it. Yes. Narcissism would be there. But it would be in check. We have to start thinking deeply here. There are some ladies making videos now, reacting to other women saying how they aren't attracted to this man that treats them right. But they love the guy that treats them like dirt. And there are other women calling this out. Saying, you say you can't find a good man. But you are ditching a good man and someone that cares about you for an evil person. You see, you can lead a horse to water but you can't make them drink. However, with that being said, there are both people, both men and women that can see the error of their ways and make changes. I worked with someone that I thought was a fairly nice guy, but he sadly liked to play the ladies. And one day, he came to me and said, "James, I don't know what it is but I'm tired of this player mess. It's all a lie and it's all garbage. I've missed out on some good women that actually cared for me, only to end up with a bunch of women that brought nothing of substance to his life. And this can be just because one day he felt this way. Or it could be he might have been exposed to content that made him think about his life and what he was doing with himself. Some people will get the message. Some people won't. Both men and women. But if the message can be put out there, when someone treats you extremely nice for a period of time, usually 6 months, then right after that they want to leave you home while they run to the nightclub, or they start to devalue you in other ways, it's time to know your worth and understand that is abuse. And if it's seen as such, maybe, just maybe, one thing that society says is not only okay, but encouraged as something cool to do as well. Maybe this one thing can be finally seen for what it is. Abuse. Abuse. Well, that's all I have for today. Let me know what you think as always. And with that said, I do hope your day is blessed. And until next time, bye for now. And be good to yourself.